We'll be covering how to write the formula for a binary covalent compound in this video. And if you haven't already, please make sure you take a look on how to name them, because in this video I'm just going to count on the fact that you already know how to name them. Okay, so we're going to need to know again these IDE ending for each of these atoms or each of these elements, and we're going to need to know the prefixes, and you're going to have to really know it. Okay, so if you want to, just pause the video and try to rote memorize all of these IDE endings and prefixes, because it will really definitely help you out. The first rule is that the first element's name is unchanged, and the second element's name has an IDE ending, which I already know that. And the second rule is that the prefixes, they will go in front of each of these elements to tell you how many atoms of that element there are. So let's take a look at our first example here. We have disulfur decafluoride. Di means 2, and sulfur is S, so there's supposed to be 2 sulfurs. Deca means 10, and fluoride is F, so there's going to be 10 fluorides. So our chemical formula is just going to be S2F10, S2F10, and there we are. Alright, so it's really important that you do know those prefixes by heart and the IDE endings by heart. So let's take a look at our next example. We have now dichloride heptoxide. Di is 2, chloride is Cl, there's 2 Cl's. Hept is 7, oxide is O, there are 7 oxygens. So put them together, ClO7 is supposed to be our chemical formula. Cl2O7 rather. Okay, so let's look at our third example now. In our third example we have sulfur hexafluoride. Sulfur is S. There's no prefix because there's only one sulfur, and you don't put mono in front of the first element. So S. Hexa is 6, and fluoride is F. There are 6 fluorides. Okay, put them together. We have SF6, which should be our chemical formula. And there we are. Let's just look at 2 more examples. Here is example 4. We have boron trifluoride. Boron is B, it lacks a prefix, so there's only one boron here. Tri is 3, and fluoride is F, so there are 3 fluorides. Put them together, we have BF3, which should be our chemical formula. Okay, is that simple? And lastly, we have dinitrogen tetroxide. Di means 2, nitrogen is N, so there's 2 nitrogens. Tetra rather, means 4, and oxide is O, so there are 4 oxygens. Put them together, we have N2O4, which should be our chemical formula. Okay, so it's really rather simple here. However, you do need to take a moment, maybe 2 minutes, to memorize the list of the prefixes, and it's not quite necessary, but you should also know the IDE endings of each of those elements at the beginning of the video. Okay, so if you haven't, I really do encourage you, try to memorize those, because it will be extremely helpful and efficient for you to name these binary covalent compounds.